What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Swisher coming back at you. You know what I'm saying? Normally I would give my Texan thoughts, but I'm working on. I'm not saying I'm working on it. It's gonna happen. Shout out to hold on. Shout out to you know everybody that I fuck with on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Especially my boy Ed Honcho, aka Sauce Nation. You know what I'm saying? He did a series called Know Your Texans. You know what I'm saying? And it it was a really good move. You know what I'm saying? I had something similar in mind, but like I said, he got to it first. You know what I'm saying? So like fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it is what it is. We all repping the Texans, so I'm like shit. Hey, more power to you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Push that information out. Now, for the series that I have planned, the Texans they kind of do it with Drew Doherty and them and all that, but they don't necessarily go into the depth of you know how I plan to do it. So be looking for that. Saying this upcoming season, I will be doing the Know Your Foe. It's because that's what it's gonna be called. Know Your Foe. You know, and like I say, I mean, of course, like I said, the Texans them they have a mini series like that already, but I feel like they don't necessarily go into the depth that they need to. You know what I'm saying? Because when I look at these other teams, and when I'm looking at them play on NFL Network, or if I'm, or mostly it's on NFL Network, but I listen to the commentary and how the if the other team is at home versus the Texans, I listen to how they talk and how they communicate the game and how they respond to what's going on, and I'm like, and I've been observing this for almost past 6 years now, you know what I'm saying? Probably longer, you know what I'm saying? But to get to the gist of that, like I said, I'm the main series is gonna highlight offensively and defensively what these teams like to do, what they're good at, what they aren't good at, what specific coverages they like to run, how is that coverage that they like to run specifically vulnerable, what blitzes they like to run, what kind of plays in the Texans offense or new plays that probably need to be incorporated into the offense. You know what I'm saying? How can those plays beat those kind of blitzes and things of that nature? You know what I'm saying? Just, going further in depth as far as like the IQ of the game, because I feel like that's what that's what me personally that's what beats the Texans. Just having, when they play teams that have either a coach and either a team or a coach and a few select players, that just can outmaneuver and out scheme you. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it again, people have given me so much shit, and I'm like I said, I'm not afraid to admit it. You know, not just on YouTube, but in my other platforms and whatnot of social media. Other people really, gave me a lot of shit for when I was talking about bringing in Dor Green Beckham or Ladarius Green. And what I found funny about that, most of the people, I want to say at least a good 70% of the people that was giving me shit, it's funny how they mindset shifted after Will Fuller's injury. And I say that because I was talking about bringing in DGB and Ladarius Green far before he got injured. And it took for him to get hurt for most of the Texans fans that gave me shit to say and realize and come to the realization that, hmm, Ladarius Green would be a decent addition for this offense. Big body receiver. I mean, outside of New England, and really, you can't. No. Fuck that. I'm gonna be honest here again, and I'm gonna display my football IQ on this, and this is what I mean by that. Most the teams that dominate offensively, they have not only that go-to weapon, that second go-to weapon, but those weapons that they have, they also are either a big body receiver, whether in this day's NFL, 6'1" and 6'2" is considered a big body receiver. Not in my eyes, but for some reason that's the trend that the league is going back to. My version of a big body receiver is 6'4", 6'5", and 6'6". Of course, I'll throw 6'3" in there because we had a Hall of Famer in this uniform that was 6'3", and y'all know who number 80 is. The Beast, the Great, the potential first. He should be a first. Well, I ain't gonna say first ballot because if he'd won a Super Bowl, he would definitely be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But definite Hall of Famer for sure. Andre Johnson. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but outside of that, it's not me. It's a few in the league now. That's 6'3" and just dominating like that. But the majority of the guys that's in the league that's dominating, like the Hopkins and all those guys, they in that range of 6'1", 6'2", and shorter. And that's just how the league is trending, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, look at a team like the Patriots. Now, most people would say, okay, they don't really have receivers like that. Bullshit. If you still would thinking that with that fucking mindset that he's getting new receivers every year and all that trend stopped like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, stop that shit. For real, stop that shit. Amendola has been there for a good while. Hogan, he just got there, I want to say maybe a year or two ago, but hey, he's not bouncing around. Welker, when he was there, Welker was there for a good while. Let's see, who was it? Amendola. Chris Hogan. Nah, I say Chris Hogan already. It's an Edelman has been there for a while. So, Malcolm Mitchell. These guys have been there. Regardless of whether they played a lot or not, those guys have been there. So, yeah, Gronk has been there. You know what I'm saying? So, this whole escapade about how he gets new receivers and works more with less, that trend really needs to stop. You know what I'm saying? But to the gist of that point of what I was making, look at receiver Chris Hogan. Legitimate, big body, deep threat. 6'1", I want to say like 200, between 200 and 210, I want to say. Decent athlete, can run. You know what I'm saying? He can make, of course, when Brady's putting it accurately where it needs to be, he can make, phenomenal catches, you know what I'm saying, and all that, or just make good catches to keep the chains moving. But like I said, just in that regard, like I said, he's a reliable target for Brady. Now, the other big body guy, Gronk. Now, true enough, he has his issues because, health wise and all that, but I mean, when he's healthy, that's your big body 1-2 punch right there. And Amendola and Edelman and Malcolm Mitchell and all them other guys are supporting. Those are the support guys. those shorter guys that can, make those quick moves, you know what I'm saying? And now you have Brandon Cooks who can go long. That's how you really formulate an offense, and that's what I've been trying to get everyone to realize. Now, with Dorian Green Beckham, last time I checked, as a receiver, you do what? You catch the ball. Dorian Green Beckham has not displayed issues catching the ball. As long as he's been in the league, and like I said, I personally wanted him in Houston, so I did my homework on him coming out. I also watched him into the pros, even though he was on the Titans. It made me watch the Titans because I wanted to see his development. Now, they can sit there and say he has trouble with learning playbooks and all that, but again, situational football don't require a large knowledge of a playbook. It don't. Situational football just requires you to make a play when it's needed. And guess what? The average DB is not Dorian Green Beckham's size. The average DB is not Ladarius Green's size. The average DB is not 6'5" and 6'6". That's just pure analytics of the game. That's just thinking. You're at the 30-yard line. It's 45 seconds. You only got a timeout, and you need a big chunk play. You know that they gonna cover Hopkins. If Fuller's healthy, you got him. This Bruce Ellington dude, he's bursting onto the scene. I think personally, I don't think Wendell Williams is gonna make the cut. Although I would like to see him do that. You got those. You have your small shifty guys. Now, go and get you another big body on the outside. When teams are blitzing, and it's double coverage rolled over to Hopkins' side, depending on how that linebacker's leverage is on that tight end, he may come open, but it's a if. Now, like I said, when you have a Dorian Green Beckham or Ladarius Green on the outside that's 6'5", 6'6", guess what? Now the defense is going, oh shit, we may roll a dice, and if we roll a dice, we might get burned. Because guess what? You throw it up, if Savage puts it up, and it's Dorian Green Beckham's versus the average DB that's 5'10", 5'11", guess what? I'm putting my money on Dorian Green Beckham. And guess what? That would be a chunk. Either three things are guaranteed to happen. A completion for a big game, a pass interference call, which means an automatic first down. The clock stops and you get an automatic first down. Or 3, it's an incomplete pass and the clock still stops. Situational football, that helps you. You may lose a down, but I would much rather lose a down than to take a sack or throw a pick, a fumble, something that's negative. Ladarius Green, as that number 2 tight end, talk about a seam buster, talk about a guy that can get behind linebackers and safeties, talk about a guy that on simple post routes from the tight end position, no matter which side you put him on, his speed it would be hard to